Some episodes may contain graphic content or sensitive topics, while all episodes will consistently feature offensive language and absurd speculations from two opinionated women on a spiritual journey just trying to figure shit out. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Sharon, and I'm here with my co-host, Heather.
Hi.
Welcome to Hexhaven. Thanks for joining us today. We are going to talk about something that I think we kind of throw this word around a lot. We're going to dive into what a spiritual awakening actually is.
Okay.
So I feel like we use it a lot, but it dawned on me recently that we don't really have a full view of what that is.
Sure.
And I think we're now at a point in our journey where defining this to understanding what it means for us is probably pretty important.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
The other thing is, if astrology and the current societal climate tells us anything, it's that some big changes are headed for all of us in the very near future.
Yeah.
And this could really shake the foundations of humanity if too many of us are not spiritually grounded on more than just a surface level. I think that most people feel like they're spiritually grounded, but I think most of us are at a surface level. We don't really dive too much deeper into it and figuring out what that actually means.
Sure, yeah.
So I came up with just a working definition that I'm putting together. A spiritual awakening is like a shift in perception where your inner world becomes impossible to ignore and your sense of self begins to expand or, I guess, unravel.
Okay, sure.
It can be rapid or it can be gradual. It's also an extremely personal and individualized experience that presents differently in all persons. Psychologists refer to it as self-transcendence, where the sense of self goes beyond the personal ego. And so this definition is one that I kind of wrote up myself.
Okay.
I based it off of 3 sources that I used to kind of put this together. One is Dr. Kirsty Formoso. She is a psychologist. And then another one is a spiritual coach. Her blog is called The Life of an Empath.
Okay.
And then the third one I used is Rainn Wilson's book, Soul Boom, Why We Need a Spiritual Revolution.
Okay.
And Rainn Wilson is Dwight from The Office.
Nice. Have you read his whole book?
Yeah.
And you liked it?
I liked it a lot.
Did you do Audibles or you read the book?
I listened to it on Audible, which he narrates it himself.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was kind of cool. I don't know if he already has or if it's coming out this year, but he's offering a new version of the book that has a workbook with it.
Oh, cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool. It's something I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for.
Yeah, that's something I would like to read when I have the time.
Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to read what I call her Dr. F, from the psychologist, from this point forward. I wanted to read to you what she wrote on her blog about what she thinks a spiritual awakening is.
Okay.
So she said, as a transpersonal psychologist, I've spent decades exploring spiritual awakenings, both personally and professionally. I've been on a spiritual path for around 30 years, have experienced several spiritual awakenings, and have lived in a non-dual state of consciousness for an extended period. Through these experiences, my academic training, and my work with my clients, I've come to see spiritual awakening as a deeply personal and meaningful journey back to a more fundamental sense of self and reality. It is as if we wake up from an egoic sleep that has kept us trapped in our own little me stories, beliefs, and perceived limitations. During one of my profound awakenings, I witnessed the gradual process of returning to ordinary egoic functioning. This period gave me a deep understanding of the tension that can arise between egoic identity and the more expansive states of consciousness. I was able to observe the ego attempting to reassert itself, drawing awareness back into habitual patterns and interpretations of reality, sometimes described symbolically as the world of Maya, which I have never heard of that before. It's Maya. Maya is the cosmic illusion or veil that causes the phenomenal world to appear as something other than what it is, obscuring true spiritual reality. So it's like a veil, yeah.
That's an interesting choice of words.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, so I think first it's important to talk about what most people think a spiritual awakening is. Most people think it's instant enlightenment, constant peace or bliss, if only. Psychic powers turning on overnight, aesthetic witchy glow up, everything suddenly makes sense, or something you can only experience as part of a specific religious system. I do think that a lot of people like the idea of having a spiritual awakening because they've glamorized it. Which isn't really a realistic view to go into something this deep with, in my opinion. I'd argue it isn't something one even really gets to choose. You kind of just fall into it, and it's actually usually really rough.
Right.
So Dr. F tells us what a spiritual awakening is not. Spiritual awakening is not being able to do the scorpion yoga pose. It's not a destination, an identity, an event, or something we have total control over. There are many misconceptions in the Western world about spirituality and the true meaning of being spiritually awake. In service to you, I'm hoping that this article helps you understand what it means to be spiritually awake, what it's like to be in a spiritually awakening process, and what you can do to support your own self-exploration and awakening. I will include the link to her blog post in our show notes. There's like a lot of additional resources on her website as well. I found myself going to some different pages, reading some of her other stuff,
Right.
to like look deeper into certain parts.
Okay. So what they're saying is like, you can't possibly just wake up one morning and be like, oh,
I'm going into the spiritual awakening.
right.
Yeah.
It's obviously something that actually takes work.
Yes. Yeah. I like how they put in there like the aesthetic witchy glow up.
I giggled a little.
There are so many TikTok witches.
Yeah, there is. But so many do have good information.
Oh yeah.
Though, where I'm like,
yeah.
Is this for show or is this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can kind of spot the ones that are more superficial. There's two that I really, really like. Earth Fairy Holistic is one of them. Okay. And then the other one is Nevermore Aries. This is her. I don't know if you've seen her.
Okay, yeah, I have.
Yeah. And then the Earth Fairy, I have posted quite a bit of her stuff. This chick.
Oh, yeah, I see her all the time.
Yeah, I love her. I think, for one, she's very knowledgeable. But she also does not take shit from people. and
you gotta love that in a woman.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
A smart woman that knows how to speak.
Yeah, and even when she's like, you know, she'll post like somebody's shitty comment and she'll like respond to them, but she's never disrespectful or downgrading. She just speaks facts, you know? So she's awesome. I like her a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, like people sometimes get in a car accident or have like a near-death experience. I mean, that could trigger a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, definitely. There is quite a few triggers, and like a near-death experience is a major one.
Okay.
I think it's probably pretty common, too, for people to begin awakening after that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
To make things like a little bit easier, as far as like talking about what a spiritual awakening really is, I kind of broke it down into 3 core components.
Okay.
So the first one is like an internal shift. And during this internal shift, you might experience like increased self-awareness, heightened sensitivity to meanings, symbolism, intuition, seeing numbers repeating, stuff like that. And you also usually will get a sense of there being something more behind ordinary life. The second core is the disillusion of your old identity. This is where you start questioning inherited beliefs, feeling misaligned with old roles or relationships. You can kind of feel a sense of like being between selves a little bit. And then finally, once you like move past that, you go into like a reorientation where you start building new mental frameworks, understanding that pain is temporary, but the soul lives on. You might integrate your intuition with grounded action. And then removing duality. So I didn't put a lot of time into looking into like what that would mean, but removing duality is like things having opposites, you know, good versus bad, masculine versus feminine. With the masculine versus feminine, I can think of specifically like removing the idea of them being opposites and thinking about them on more of like a spectrum, like a moving spectrum. My assumption is that's what that would mean as far as like removing duality.
Okay.
So, but I mean, that's something that like we could maybe dive into one day.
Sure.
A little bit deeper. Common triggers. There's a lot.
I'm sure anything trauma-based
is
going to be a trigger.
Yeah, so any kind of grief or loss,
Mm-hmm.
major life transitions, burnout or existential crisis, a near-death experience, psychedelic experiences like taking mushrooms or acid.
I can see that for sure.
Falling in love or becoming a parent, spending a lot of time in nature. Having a lot of, like, synchronistic or mystical events. And then the last one is collective upheaval, like pandemics and cultural shifts.
Sure. I mean, that was a huge one for everyone in the world.
Absolutely. I think that, honestly, like, if we look back at, like, the last 5-10 years, it feels like there has been it started out real slow and gradual, the shift.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, this last, like, 2 years, it's like, bam. Just everything gets turned upside down over and over again, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So Dr. F, she says that once you have one trigger, it is extremely common that you'll have continued triggers. They could roll in one on top of the other or on a slower basis, which I guess I kind of understand because, like, I'm looking at this list. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have experienced at least 9.
Of the triggers?
Yeah.
Girl, yeah. As you were saying them, I was like, check.
Yeah.
Check. Like, not like this is a competition or anything.
Yeah.
But I was like, holy cow. Like...
Yeah, the only one that I can't really resonate with is, like, the near-death experience. I don't think...
No.
I've ever almost died, really.
I mean, I've been in, like, a car accident before, but not, like, almost dying.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that maybe could count, because I've been in a pretty bad car accident where it was like, when I walked away, I was like, how am I walking away with just a sprained ankle?
Sure. And that's, I mean, my car accident was bad. Like, my airbags deployed.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty bad. Like,
right.
my car was totaled.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I am thinking back to the conversation we've had about one of my friends that was always kind of religious, but then she became super religious and wanted me to go to her church so I could be saved, and it ultimately ruined our relationship.
Ah, yes.
But she had come to me at one point and told me that she was like driving home from work and witnessed a car accident, so she pulled over to make sure everybody was okay. Mm-hmm. And as she was like walking up to the car, she told me that she heard God's voice and said, "Tell him about me. Tell him that he'll be okay. Just tell him about me." And then she was like, like she felt weird because she's never had that overwhelming need to tell someone about God.
Right. And was that before she like became religious, or was it...
She was always religious.
Okay.
But she pulled her kids out of school, teaching them at home, became like very... Maybe this was the turning point that made her become...
It very well could have been.
You know, because she was very much a normal person. She was in the Marines. She's a person that taught me how to shoot a gun.
Oh, shit.
You know? Yeah, she was like a sharpshooter in the Marines.
Wow,
like,
that's awesome.
She was a badass, you know? And she always went to church, always had God in her life, but it went to God is the only thing in her life.
Right. Well,
you know?
And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but there are some dangers of, like, awakening where you can kind of go too far to the extreme.
Right.
Where it's like, you believe that everybody else is wrong, only what you hold as beliefs is what's real.
Right.
You know, and, like, you kind of step back into that ego without even really realizing it because you're so caught up in the worshiping of God or divine power of it all that you're just like, I know better than everybody, you know?
Yeah, and so she told me she didn't ultimately tell this person about God because she felt overwhelmed because she had never had that urgent need or heard that or felt that.
Right.
And then I remember because as she was telling me, she was becoming upset because she was like, I feel like I failed God because he asked me to spread the word and I didn't. So now it's my job. Like, I have to spread the word.
So
and I think
definitely
that is what made her become even more like, I need to tell everyone about him.
Right.
Like, because I couldn't in the time he asked me to. Now, maybe she's trying to make up for, you know, like not doing it. But I remember when she was telling me the story of the car accident, and I was just thinking, because I've never been, like, a believer.
Right.
You know, and I was just like, oh, shit. Like, you know, and I'm asking her, I'm like, was it a feeling or you actually heard him speaking to you? And she's like, I heard him. I heard him. I could feel him. It was in my heart. It was in my head. And I was like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
But we all feel like vibrations and things differently.
We do. Know? I have never experienced somebody actually speaking to me like that, but I have experienced times where I felt like something was sending me a message.
Sure.
And it never manifested as words, it manifested more as images or feelings or vibrations. Or you remember when we did the sound bath thing and we had like that overwhelming warmth?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like that. I get that a lot.
Right.
And so I think I would probably shit my pants if something actually spoke to me.
Right, and that's what I was trying to get from her when I was asking all these questions, because knowing her and knowing she's a religious person already is she's the type, we'd be out like day drinking.
Right.
And we would run into someone and they would say like, oh yeah, my mom hasn't been feeling well. She's like, I will pray for them. And then she would say, do you want to pray with me? And she would literally pray with someone and then we'd go about doing shots and go somewhere else. I mean,
that's crazy.
It's just who she was. She just had that much faith.
Yeah.
And that's why, to me at first, I was like, well, it's because someone's in crisis and she naturally would be someone that would want to pray or offer some spiritual guidance because that's what she knows in life to comfort someone.
Absolutely.
So to me, I was like, so that's what her calling is. It's her within herself knowing like, oh, I know all these prayers. I know all these things from the Bible that could comfort this person.
Yeah.
But when I said you physically heard someone, she's like, I physically heard God's voice talking to me.
She'd be like, did he sound sexy? How deep was his voice?
I was not aware of Sexy Jesus.
Like
10 years ago.
Pre-Sexy Jesus.
But it's probably been about, I think it's probably been about 10 years since I've talked to her because of the ultimatum.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the thing too I think that Christians in particular are at a higher risk to take it to the extreme. I think that most Christians who believe that deeply do go through a spiritual awakening, but because of the way that so many Christian leaders have interpreted the Bible and God's word, I think that they're at a higher risk to step back into the ego.
Sure.
You know, and think that they know best, that their way is right, so then everybody has to feel that way. And we already know that it's a core concept of Christianity to spread the word, bring more people into the faith. It just kind of is what it is.
Right. I was trying to see if I could... Did you ever see the lady? She's got like blue eyes, dark hair bangs. She has a nose piercing. But she grew up really, really religious. And she knows each version of the Bible like the back of her hand.
Yeah.
And she will honestly go on there and be like, never once in the Bible does it say anything about gays.
Yeah.
Like, she will point out verses where it says we should be helping immigrants.
Oh, yeah. There's a guy. He's so cute. He's a pastor, and he will, like, hold up, like, MAGA talking points, and then he will refute them with actual Bible verses.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
And I think it's so incredible.
I do, too.
It's starting with an M.
Is it Monty? Monty Mater?
Monty Mater, that's what it is.
She is fucking...
I knew that it started with an
goddamn smart.
She is incredibly smart.
I love her because she is like a true Christian who's like, I am sick and tired of these sycophants using my God and my Bible to hurt so many people.
Yes.
Like, I love her so much.
Yeah. I just watched one of her things about like the first time she went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time she went to New York, how she actually, like, met gay people and was like, holy shit, this community is, like, super great, super kind, loving people. They're nothing like the church has burned into my head about gay people being taboo.
Yeah.
And she talks about when her dad died, that the one person that checked on her was a gay person that when she was a holy rolling Christian, she was mean to.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But she was also talking about, like, twice a month, she does, like, a Bible study that anyone can join. And people can ask questions at the end. And someone asked a question, I will see if I come across this clip, about something about Jesus having X chromosomes or Y chromosomes or something. Mm-hmm. Something about that where, and then the person said, wouldn't that make Jesus a woman then? And then she's like, oh my God, I think Jesus is trans. And I wish I could remember it exactly because she's so smart.
Yeah.
But I will send it to you. But I was like, oh my God, because remember what I said, like, I don't know, months ago where I was like, he's in a fucking dress, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't it like everybody is born with both XY chromosomes and then... I think it's the Y chromosome for females, right?
I'm not sure.
Well, whatever it is, with men, the one chromosome falls off.
Right.
So it's like, I've heard the argument before, like, everybody's a woman.
Yeah, and that's what this was about. They're saying, like, if everybody's born with both these chromosomes and this didn't drop off, then technically Jesus is a woman.
Jesus is trans.
Jesus is trans. And
trans Jesus
I know,
for life.
Yeah, I don't know which XYZ it is.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so fucking hilarious.
It is. No, I really like her. I started following her a couple years ago because she's heavy on the deconstruction. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think that I have spent my entire life in a state of deconstruction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I wanted to read a little snippet from the Life of an Empath blog. So, the chick's name is, I think it's Tanesha Sylla, or Sylla, Sylla. But she says, are you awake? How do you know if you're awake? I channeled this message about the stages of awakening from my guides. Remember we were talking about, like, internal guides? Mm-hmm. So that's what she uses instead of, like, going to see a preacher or something like that. So her guides told her, awakening is a magnificent delight. To understand that you are more than you think you are, and the universe and the environment are infinite connection and abundance. It's quite magical. But humans do not always conceptualize this with such wonder and enjoyment. Many people struggle tremendously when they answer the call later in life. The awakening is always available to you, but your earthly circumstances determine when you accept. The ego blocks expansiveness in mind and in the soul. and it prevents the soul's urge to grow and seek meaning beyond what it can see. I just thought that was very pretty. The stages of the spiritual awakening.
Okay.
I will say they differ depending on what source you're using. There's a lot of different sources that use like 7 stages, a lot of sources that use 3, and then I saw a couple that used 5 and like 10, which 10 just seems, come on now.
Well, so it's not standardized like recovery. Like
Yeah.
you do this stage for, or this, what is it, the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Like you go into this stage first before you go into this stage.
Right.
So that's not the case here. There's
No, not
flexibility
really.
in the
There's some
stages.
flexibility. And like, so I just put together, I used 7, and I just kind of meshed everything that I found into the 7 stages where I felt like they fit.
Okay.
So the first stage is, I called it the catalyst. It is a crisis or trigger point. It is a time when you're seeing those synchronicities or you're having mystical experiences. It's a time when you have a slow dissatisfaction that becomes impossible to ignore. A shift in perception before the soul begins to seek answers. During this stage, you become increasingly aware of the falsities around you, the emotions that you've been suppressing, and it can stir up a lot of fear and anger.
I feel like this could also be called like a midlife crisis.
A spiritual awakening? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's fair.
Okay. All right.
Well, but so think about like the slow dissatisfaction that becomes impossible to ignore and a shift in perception before the soul begins to seek answers is that like I feel where I was when we went on our camping trip.
Okay.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So then stage 2 is the cracking open, which is emotional intensity that needs to be released, whether it's by crying or grounding.
Okay. I think we've got both those covered.
Yep. Heightened intuition, feeling raw, exposed, or hyper-aware, and then questioning long-held or inherited family beliefs. So I know for a fact that I've gone through this, and I feel like I continue to go back to this stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like as something happens, I find myself back here.
I would agree with that for myself as well.
Yeah.
It's hard, though.
It is.
Because that's your, like, learned behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, and, like, still, like, the deconditioning. I mean, the deconditioning that we have is, like, it goes beyond even our lived experiences. It's our parents' lived experiences, their parents' lived experiences. All of this shit that has just been piled on top of us, on top of our own lived experiences.
Generational curses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So stage 3 is disorientation. It's where you experience identity confusion. Your relationships might shift, could be made worse depending on each relation's spiritual beliefs, you know. You might feel isolated or misunderstood. You probably oscillate between awe, fear, and sadness, especially in short bursts.
Okay.
And then stage 4 is the seeking. This is where I also feel like I've spent my entire life. Diving into books, practices, seeking guidance.
Yeah.
Experimenting with meditation, divination, and ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Searching for meaning, community, or guidance. This is considered to be the longest and the most ongoing stage of the spiritual journey. It's the ongoing battle of breaking with your ego, which I think as human beings, it's impossible for us to stay detached from our ego. We have to continually remind ourselves to detach.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So then comes our favorite, stage 5, the shadow work.
Oh, okay.
Confronting old wounds, recognizing your own patterns, ego death moments, integrating the parts of yourself that you have previously avoided. It often leads to another wave of feeling lost. It involves a lot of journaling, a lot of really hard, honest work with yourself. And I think a lot of people get stuck in stage 5 because stage 5 can push you back, especially depending on your own personal trauma.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm maybe stuck in stage 5.
Yeah. Stage 6 is the integration. It's kind of when you start to come to terms with the fact that what was is no longer working, no longer serving you. You've done all of the researching. So during the integration, you'll want to do a lot of grounding, discernment, which I looked up because I wasn't sure of the meaning. The ability to perceive, understand, and judge things clearly, especially when distinguishing truth from falsehoods and navigating complex decisions.
Okay.
And then embodying your intuition, so trusting yourself.
Right.
Living from authenticity rather than performance. And then just like being kind, honestly, internally and externally. Filling the cup of others when you can, and also taking care of yourself in tandem.
Which is not easy.
It's not easy.
At all.
And like for me, I can do one or the other. So, like sometimes I feel like I focus too much on one or the other. I fill other people's cups so much that there's nothing left for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and usually after that happens, I go into a period of, fuck y'all.
Right.
I can't help it. I'm a work in progress.
Right.
And then stage 7, this is one that I added, the ongoing spiral. So awakening is not a one-time event. It cycles, deepens, and evolves. You become more capable of holding paradox, mystery, and nuance, which to me is like shedding a little bit of the skepticism. Like you still want to have skepticism. It's important to have, but it's more like being more comfortable with knowing that you will never have all the answers and working to just remain present.
Okay. I think that is something that I struggle with is not always having the answers. Mm-hmm. Not being able to always have the answers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to break with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I have a little bit going for me in that department by the fact that like my dad was so like fantasy and D&D and like mythology. Mm-hmm. You know, he like instilled all those things into me, so it made it easier for me to accept that I won't know for sure.
Right.
Some things.
Right.
I want to know everything.
Well, and that's definitely why God was invented.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Absolutely. I think that a lot of people just kind of clung to even like the Bible when it was found, you know. I don't remember how it was found. I know it was fashioned together, but
yeah.
I think that it was just, this is something that we can cling to that maybe could explain why the world works the way that it works.
Right.
You know.
Yes. Yeah.
Before we had the ability to do like scientific discovery and stuff like that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Before we realized what quantum physics was.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I, like, as I'm looking through all of the different stages and stuff, I definitely realized that I have been cycling. I think I have honestly been in a spiritual awakening my entire life.
I think so, too. Like I told you, I, like, started when I was in my 20s, mm-hmm. searching for something, answers to things, or something that I could relate to, or... You know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, let's talk about some side effects.
Side effects. Okay.
The beautiful and the messy.
Okay. Being crazy? A crazy Christian?
Sometimes.
Would that be I mean, I feel like that'd be the number one side effect.
Yeah. So, emotional side effects. Intense highs and lows. Sudden clarity followed by confusion, mm-hmm. Feeling disconnected from old communities. Mm. Physical symptoms could include fatigue, heightened sensitivity, sleep changes, and somatic releases, which I wasn't real sure what that was, so I looked into that one a little bit more. It is grounding, breath work, gentle movements, body scanning. Signs of a somatic release could be like shivering, shaking, crying,
Okay.
sighing, feelings of warmth, which indicate the nervous system is shifting from a freeze state to a more balanced state.
Okay.
Which I didn't know.
No, I didn't know that either.
That made me think of our sound bath experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure. Which is, man, something I'd really like to do again.
I completely agree. Some psychological side effects are your identity unraveling, increased introspection, questioning of beliefs, and feeling not like yourself.
Okay. I mean, those are basically side effects every day that people experience.
Man,
right?
like...
I mean, if they don't, well, good for them, because I feel like I experience those on a daily basis.
For sure. Like, when I was looking at all of the different side effects, I'm like, this is why I've been feeling so... I go in, like, these cycles with emotions where I'm like, I feel like I'm on the other side of, like... You know, I've gotten over this part of the spiritual awakening, and I'm like, why am I so fucking angry then? You know?
Right. Well, I mean, I go through those cycles too, but I think that a lot can be said about our seasons, how they affect us, and our political climate right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could be having the best day ever, and then we see something that's just heartbreaking or just incomprehensible.
Right, and it's been videotaped and put all over the internet.
Yeah. But before this ick fucking situation, even like 10, 20 years ago, like being someone from the Midwest, winter is a very hard time for most people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why there's seasonal depression, because it's just, you need vitamin D. You need that. And you need to be outside in fresh air. You need to be grounded. Your feet need to touch the earth. And those are all things that you can't do as much when it's cold and it's gloomy and it's snowing.
Right. You know, I think that's part of the reason why I really enjoy ice fishing. Because it's a way for me to be outside in the winter. Because, like, normally I don't want to leave my house.
No.
Especially when it comes to, like, getting off of work and going home. I'm not leaving.
Right.
You know?
Once I get home, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't expect me to do shit.
Right. But if it's summer, I'll be like, let's go to the park.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go out to dinner.
Let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge thing for me, is I get off work and I'll go walk, like, in a park or something.
Right.
I don't do that in the winter because I just, I'm getting old. What if I slip on some ice?
Right.
And no one finds
Break your
me?
hip.
Break my hip.
Without your life alert?
Maybe I need a life alert. Damn it. Oh, no. Maybe that's what I asked for my 50th birthday.
Yeah, right?
Someone please invest in a life alert for me.
Something else that I kind of looked into, because I saw this phrase coming up a lot, is the dark night of the soul. And I kind of wonder if this is where I'm at, to be completely honest.
This is one of the stages?
No.
Oh.
It's part of shadow work.
Oh.
And it's part of awakening. Like, they talk about it in all of the sources that I was reading, like, very matter-of-factly, like, everybody should know what it is.
Right, and I've never heard about it.
Right, so I went and looked it up. So the definition is, a dark night of the soul is a period of profound spiritual desolation, meaninglessness, or spiritual disorientation that often follows a spiritual opening or a mystical experience. It occurs when the ego's usual structures of meaning dissolve, leaving a temporary sense of inner darkness as old sources of identity fall away and the psyche reorganizes at a deeper level. While the definition above captures the essence, the lived experience of a dark night is more nuanced. It reflects a disruption in the ego's entire organizing system. The familiar ways we understand ourselves, other people, and reality. After an awakening or an expanded state experience, the old frameworks of meaning can no longer hold, yet a new organizing principle has not yet formed. This creates an unsettling gap. The previous sense of self is dissolving, but the new self is not yet fully stable. The darkness of the dark night is not an error or a regression. It is the collapse of formerly reliable sources of identity, purpose, and conceptual meaning. What remains is a liminal space where the inner clarity is temporarily obscured. Not because something is wrong, but because the psyche is reorienting around a deeper level of truth.
Okay.
And I think that this kind of sort of does fit how I have been feeling. I think that I did a lot of work over this last year deconstructing a lot of beliefs.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
But I didn't really do a hell of a lot to form new framework.
Yes.
I think we have definitely in the last 2 months, you and I, had some discussions that have helped cement some things for me. Like the soul travel and all that. But I think that's just a base level, I don't think that I've really found very much where it's okay, this is going to be my new way of thinking.
I agree with you. I'm the same way. I feel the same way. I don't feel like I found that yet.
Right.
I feel like I can pick things apart.
And I really think that for myself, I will never come across a specific religious path or spiritual framework that I will 100% get behind.
Right.
I think that I just have to put the pieces together on my own. And I think that's going to take me a long time to do, but I also think that it will be more meaningful for me.
Right.
I
also think this is how cults are formed.
Are we forming a cult?
I mean, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
We could. I think you'd be a great leader.
Yeah.
I mean...
Shit, I promise I won't have sex with anybody.
Right.
I won't take your virginity and I won't take your money.
Oh my God.
I could be a cult leader.
I think you could. Which I recently saw on, I want to say it was HBO. There was an episode about a cat cult.
Oh.
And I almost didn't watch it because you had brought it up.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be something that you wanted to talk about later on.
Yeah.
And I just thought, it's just crazy to me.
It's crazy to me too. Did you end up watching it?
I did end up watching it.
Okay, so was it the one where the lady was saying the cats are the messengers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
And then she ended up taking all their money to get breast implants. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
Craziness.
I just, it just always boggles my mind that intelligent people get stuck in these situations.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, but that one was oh my goodness gracious.
It's insane, man. And I don't know. I would really like to think that if I was in a cult and all of a sudden the leader was yeah, now you have to take these 10 cats because they're messengers of God, that I would just be you're fucking high on crack.
I hope that I would, that's what I'm saying, what a huge inconvenience.
Yeah.
I'm all for saving animals, but one lady was she had 35 of them. She had a litter box in every room, and no matter what she did, she couldn't keep them clean because there was 35 cats,
Right.
And I am in any normal situation, I would be no, that's not happening.
Right.
I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I wouldn't even want that many cats in my place. But
all I think of is cat pee.
Yeah,
smelling
and
cat pee
is the worst smell ever, and you can't fucking get it out of anything.
Yeah.
So when you have that many cats, you have to stay on top of cleaning.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, they're pissing everywhere.
And I feel it would be impossible to keep up with 35 of them.
Yeah.
It's the minute that you get everything cleaned up, they're already making a mess over here.
And that's what the one lady was saying. She was she had 10 kitty litter boxes, and she would scoop one. And then by the time she was done all scooping 10, she'd get back to the first one and there'd be fill of poop and pee again.
Right.
But I think in any normal situation, I'd be no, that's not for me. But when someone is making you feel obligated or making you feel you're not being a good person because you're not doing this, then you tend to be shit, I don't want them to think bad of me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it.
Right. Well, and a lot of times too with that kind of stuff is it's not even necessarily just the cult leader's opinion. It's also the other members, and you don't want to risk your relationships with them, you know, or have them see you as a bad person because you don't want 35 cats.
Right. Well, and listeners, I just want you to know, when Sharon and I do form our cult, you will still be able to have contact with your friends and family.
Yes.
Because I know that's a huge thing in a cult where they start making you disconnect and not... No.
Fully dependent on them. In our cult, you can bring your kids.
Yeah.
You can still talk to your non-cult family. Okay, so there's also like some spiritual side effects that you can exhibit, like heightened intuition, symbolic dreams, synchronicities, and then feeling guided or connected. Okay, so this is where we like kind of touch back on the conversation about your friend, like the shadow side of awakening is what I kind of labeled it.
Okay.
This can look like things like spiritual bypassing, which I wasn't sure what it was, so I Googled it.
Okay.
It is using spiritual ideas, practices, or beliefs to avoid facing, healing, or resolving painful emotions, psychological wounds, or unfinished developmental tasks.
Okay.
So, like, I guess an example would be, instead of doing, like, the shadow work, just kind of being like, well, I know that pain is only in this physical form, so I'm fine until the next life, you know?
Right. I'm thinking, like, instead of doing the shadow work, being like, well, I can just pray on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
That's what I thought when you read that. It's like, not necessarily doing the work because you think, really, you can just pray on it.
Yeah.
You know? Okay.
And God will take care of it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Like, you don't have to put the work in because your divine power will take care of it.
Right.
Another one is ego inflation. Things like, I'm the chosen one. I have all the answers. I have nothing left to learn.
That's a huge one, I think, is I have nothing left to learn. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, we see that with a lot of Christians.
Yeah.
They think they already know it all. Their interpretation is right, and they have nothing left to learn.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I think it's also what keeps them separate from a lot of other like spiritual paths, because most spiritual paths, they say, I have nothing left to learn about this thing, but now I'm going to move on to this thing, you know?
Right.
Or like, how many times have we been like, oh my God, like this idea of God is the same as this idea and this idea, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in our research, we have several things that we connect
throughout
where we're like, hey, remember when we talked about this in this episode and this and this? Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, voodoo and vodou, like those are not paths that either one of us necessarily would like be inclined to explore, but by researching it and getting the knowledge on it, we were able to put pieces from Christianity, from paganism, from all kinds of other spiritual paths and see the similarities. Yeah. You know?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think a lot of times when it comes to Christianity, it's very much, I don't need to know about anything else outside of this Christian bubble.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Outside of this Christian bubble. Yeah. Yep.
Some other things to be weary of is over-identifying with your gifts, falling into fear-based thinking, or isolation, and the last one is over-consumption of spiritual content without integration. Because you can sit and read a book till the cows come home, but if you aren't actually putting those things into practice, it's not getting you anywhere.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. And like, many people can like recite a Bible passage to you, but they don't even live by that Bible passage. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
we see that a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I came up with some suggestions on like how to navigate a spiritual awakening safely. My suggestions include grounding daily, staying curious, rest, seeking community, questioning your interpretations, and then keep 1 foot in the mystical and 1 foot in the practical.
Ah, yeah. You make sure you ground yourself every day, right? That's like a practice that you do every day.
I do, and I definitely was like, we talked about I was struggling with winter and everything, but I don't know why I didn't think before to use my fucking houseplants.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just such a simple thing to do, you know? So I've been doing that. Man. Like, during these winter months, at least.
It's making me think of this, oh man, I hope I see it again. But this dog, these people, like, were traveling to, like, an exotic location, and this dog came out of the jungle, and he was, like, all bitten up by fleas, and so whatever. So they took it to the local vet, got him all fixed up, had someone foster him until they could, because it's hard to bring back a dog from a foreign country.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And so they brought him back. So they have this dog now in their house, and they realized they would watch him, and they had like a lot of houseplants, and he would like slowly walk through the houseplants and like around them. Oh, yeah. And so then they started to like move him in the middle of the floor, and he would just walk through them.
Oh, and it was adorable.
Yes, it is the cutest dang thing ever. And they're like, we think thinks he's in the jungles.
Yeah,
and he just wants to feel the leaves on him. And the way he looks too, where he's just like in this like meditative state, just walking around the plants.
I love that.
It's the cutest. I hope I find it again, because I'll send it to you. It's adorable.
For sure.
Yeah.
So some things that I think that you should avoid, like doing or whatever. Isolating yourself is a big one. I think you and I talked about that a little bit, because you were kind of concerned that like you don't have many people to talk to about this stuff.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I'm really glad that you you like Chelsea and then Caitlin. Do not assume that every sensation is a sign. Don't rush to label yourself, which is something I think we did in the beginning of this, where we were like, what do we identify as? And it's like, well, we don't fucking know, because we're just starting.
Right.
Do not compare your journeys to others. We're all going at our own speed here, you know?
Yep.
Don't abandon your body or your mental health. If we are here to learn, we can't do it with a failing body or mind.
True.
And then last, avoid suppressing what you conceive as negative emotions, such as anger, fear, sadness, or lust.
Oh, okay.
So what does an awakening look like over time? I think it looks like a clear sense of self, a more authentic life, a relationship with mystery that involves healthy skepticism.
Healthy. I like that choice of words.
Yep. A deeper capacity for compassion, and most importantly, self-trust.
Like, trigger word for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, there's more. A grounded intuition and a life that feels aligned rather than just formed.
Ah.
My opinion is that awakening is a reoccurring process for life. Mastering it means recognizing where you are at and finding ways to move to the next step. Okay, so then Dr. F hits us with a little bit of spiritual advice here. How do I know if I am spiritually awake? This is a question that can plague us on our spiritual path. As I said, awakening is a process. I like to think that my path or spiritual awakening process has been littered with spiritual revelations, followed by a mild mystical experience and then a full-blown extended mystical experience. Each revelation led to subtle personal transformations and a deeper meaning of the transcendent spiritual dimension. Each felt like an awakening. I put this in here because it kind of sparked something in me where have we just been experiencing multiple awakenings that are just snapping puzzle pieces into place one at a time?
Well, that's what I'm gathering, because it's like a process. It's not one event, one and done.
Yeah.
Like it's a series of things.
Right.
Which makes it a process.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So she says, but when you experience universal consciousness and non-duality, you know you are awake. It's like coming out of the dream of Maya. It is an experience that stays with you for the rest of your life. It's life-changing, and it gives you a profound sense of your true nature. At this point, there's no doubt that you are spiritually awake, and there's no question of spiritual awakening stages and symptoms. And yet, the spiritual journey continues. But now, there is a knowing of who you are. The question becomes, how do I orient myself here in daily life?
Wow.
Yeah. It definitely, made me think about it a little bit differently, because I've always thought about a spiritual awakening being something happens, now I'm going through this awakening, and now here I am on the other side of it.
Right.
But I don't really think that's how it's supposed to be.
And I think maybe I didn't realize that the middle part isn't like a day or two. It's a long process.
It's a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that Dr. F taught me was that there are apparently different types of spiritual awakenings.
Okay.
She says many people tend to think of spiritual awakening as one ultimate thing that happens. But really, it's a process marked by a collection of spiritual awakening experiences that, once integrated, lead to the unfolding of one's spiritual self and a reconnection to a deeper self. Research by Rhea White, who is somebody I'm definitely interested in looking more into, suggests that each spiritual awakening experience leads to more spiritual awakenings. White documented and classified hundreds of these experiences, calling them exceptional experiences. She noted that they fall into 5 types or categories. 1, physical. 2, mystical. 3, encounter. 4, unusual death-related. And then 5, enhanced normal. I put it in there because I'm like, I kind of want to look a little bit more into that.
So, do you know anything like who this person is?
Rhea White?
Yeah. Scientist, doctor, astrologist?
I think psychologist.
A psychologist, okay. It says she writes books about transcendent experiences.
Yeah, transpersonal psychology.
Yeah. Rhea Amelia White. Prominent American parapsychologist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what we got. Okay, moving on then.
Yeah. I put this in at the last minute because I'm like, there's different types. Yeah. Like this categories? What the hell?
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that just goes to say a lot how there is different categories because we all experience things differently.
No, I completely agree. And the idea that a physical awakening would be different than a mystical awakening, it does kind of make sense, or even think about, the upheaval of society. That is a different kind of awakening to your friend saying that she heard God speaking to her.
Right.
That would manifest differently. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you would have different side effects. The stages would probably be different.
Sure. Yeah.
It makes sense,
Absolutely.
And then to wrap this up, I thought it would be cool to go over that Facebook post.
Okay.
So the post that I put up, basically, I just explained a few years ago, I started what I now realize was a spiritual awakening. And I said that lately I've, it's been intense. Lots of shadow work, mood swings, anxiety, and unpredictable magic. I've been grounding more, but I hit a point where I needed to understand what I'm really going through. So I decided to document the experience and create an episode exploring what a spiritual awakening is and how to navigate it. And then I invited people to share their own stories anonymously to help build a fuller picture.
Okay.
What I will say, I'm very glad that I did the actual research part of this before I went back and read all of the posts. Because some people are fucking just assholes. You know what I mean?
Oh.
They're real there's only one asshole comment that I'm going to read here. I pulled most of them out.
Okay, so this is where did you make this post? You like on our Hex Haven?
It's in a group called the Awakened Collective.
Okay.
One group member said, ground and shield. When you ground, your body is utilizing the energy from the earth, not your own. When you shield, you block energy vampires from sucking it out of you. I actually have a free workshop if you want the link, which I did get the link.
Awesome.
Something we could definitely look into. Another guy said, and I had to be like, yeah, dude, you're probably right here. Honestly, it sounds like you're not letting go and trusting yourself, which will make this process harder. Let go and go with the flow, as scary as that may seem. Remember who you are and lean on that. I'm not judging because I have no idea where you're at. Just a suggestion. My most unconditional love.
Aww.
And, like, I responded back and I was like, yeah, bro. Getting to the point of trusting myself is something that, like, I've already identified as a problem and have been actively working to change. I said, I think we're making progress.
Right. I mean, we identified that both for us way back when we did the Sisters Enchanted workshop.
Yeah.
Right when we started first recording.
Yeah.
Like,
and even now, I find myself constantly being like, you sound like a crazy person. I tell myself stuff like that, and it's like, even if I do sound a little crazy sometimes, like, I probably shouldn't be telling myself that. So I'll have to, like, mentally be like, nope, we're trusting ourselves, we're being kind to ourselves.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so this is the one where the dude kind of became a little bit of a douchebag. He says, I could never see being 3 years into this and still having anxiety or worry. You need to get connected to the source and remove all of those worries. 95% of all those worries will never happen anyways. The other 5% just mean it wasn't meant to be. Anyone connected to the source should be able to reach peace in less than a year.
You're putting a time limit on someone's spiritual journey.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Right. And just, there's this
You
page.
should have replied back and been like, I guess you're single, huh? Good God.
That would have been a fucking baller response.
That's like saying, someone being like, I'm in recovery and I relapsed my first year, and someone being like, well, I've been in recovery for 3 years and I never relapsed.
Yes.
Like, you're not offering anything constructive.
Right.
You're just saying
you're
how
judging.
we're different, and you're judging.
Yeah. And so I completely ignored the comment.
Yeah.
But this other page came on and kind of stuck up for me a little bit, and I was like, follow, like, immediately.
Right. Yeah.
But she says, I think it's a she, I don't know why I'm saying she. They said, I see this a little bit differently from my own experience. Awakening doesn't automatically equal mastery or constant peace. It opens awareness, but the integration can take years, sometimes a lifetime. We're all connected to the source already, even people who don't think of it that way. Anxiety or struggle doesn't mean someone is disconnected or doing it wrong. It often just means that there are still layers being worked through. Telling somebody they should be past it by now can add more pressure to an already tender process. Most people move through this in cycles, not a straight line.
Exactly. They said it perfectly.
Absolutely.
Did that tool, reply back?
I think he did, but I didn't capture it here.
Okay.
But there was a reply that was like, oh, I should have been more clear, and then, a little bit deeper.
Backpedaling, oh yeah, I guess I did sound like a jackass.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that page,
and a lot of people that are self-confident come off that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe he didn't mean to come out that way. Maybe he shouldn't have used the word should.
That's
but
the
it
thing.
did come off sounding like a single tool.
Yes, anyone connected to the source should be able to reach peace in less than a year.
Yeah.
Fuck
Don't
you, dude. I haven't been able to reach peace in 35 years of life. So get fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, get fucked.
Yeah.
That might help you.
Yeah.
God.
But then that same page is called The Path Within.
Mm-hmm.
They sent another comment. It says, Hex Haven, to me, this sounds like a very honest awakening process. Deconstructing identities, especially after rigid belief systems, can stir up a lot before it finally settles. It doesn't sound like you misunderstood it. It sounds like you were moving through it in real time. Because I said at the end of my post, maybe I just misunderstood what a spiritual awakening actually was, because I didn't expect this much strange mood swingy emotions and like the constant just ups and downs, you know. I didn't expect that. So that's what she said. Doesn't sound like you misunderstood it. It just sounds like you're moving through it in real time. But I was like, thank you.
Thank you.
You are so sweet.
Bravo, whoever you are. Bravo.
Yeah. So that's what I got. I will definitely include the sources in our show notes. And then I just wanted to leave our listeners with a question. What do you guys think about a spiritual awakening? Like, do you think that you're in a spiritual awakening? Have you ever gone through one? If you have, it would be cool if you could let us know in the comments how it was for you.
Sure. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, we can be reached at hexhavenpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook.
Yep, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Check us out on Patreon.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. This has been a great episode. I loved it.
Good. I'm glad. I hope that listeners are able to pull some useful information out of there.
For sure.
So I definitely did. I mean, I feel better about the process, and I think that I probably already knew that this was going to be like a lifelong thing.
Sure.
But definitely cemented now in my mind.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
All right. Thanks for listening.
All right, bye. Original theme music for Hex Haven Podcast has been written, recorded, and produced by Matt Shaw.